Hello, everyone. Ooh, not live on Instagram yet. We have a bit of a pickle today. We'll make it work. Hope everyone's having a great day. XSplit, the program that normally streams this show, is not working properly today. They claim that Google Cloud is having issues, which apparently means that Jonathan Little's having issues. So we are streaming a little bit impromptu. Notice we don't have the beautiful chat window on the side today. This is what the full office looks like. If you're watching on Instagram, hello. Nothing will change for you. Hope you're all having a fantastic morning. I tried to make a thumbnail for YouTube because it said, hey, why don't you make a thumbnail? I said, that'd be a good idea. So I decided to light some money on fire. Instead, now the room just smells like burnt money. I didn't get a good photo, so that's unfortunate. No government, I didn't actually light the money on fire. But anyway, life is good. Life is good. There's ashes all over the apartment. Look, there's like ashes on the keyboard now. But that's okay. Because today we're talking about downswings, dealing with downswings. A lot of people don't like downswings. A lot of people get annoyed. A lot of people get frustrated. A lot of people get disgruntled whenever they are going through a downswing. And I think the main reason, well, why do you think the main reason people care about downswings? Take a second. Try to think why you think people actually care about losing money in poker. And I think there's really just one overriding reason. I think, I could be wrong, but I think it's because they have unrealistic expectations. People think they are supposed to win all the time, or at least a lot. They think their graph is just supposed to be a nice, pretty upswing. That's what they really assume. Let's see if I can do this. We're going to draw a graph for all of you. A lot of people assume their graph is supposed to go something like this. Can you all see this? Straight up. That's not how tournament poker graphs go, that's for sure. Tournament poker graphs go more like, if you're good, they go like this, where you trickle down, have an upswing when you win a tournament, trickle down, have an upswing when you tournament, trickle down, have an upswing when you win a tournament. Obviously, this would be a really pretty graph. Usually it's more like down, 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 little upswing, down, 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 little upswing, down, 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 giant upswing. So that's how a good looking graph will look. And to be fair, a good looking cash game graph will look, kind of straight up. But the problem is that most people are not actually as good as they think they are. Again, they have unrealistic expectations. They don't have a proper view of reality. And that's a problem. I'm not sure anyone can hear me on YouTube. First time we've ever tried streaming this on YouTube, actually on the platform of YouTube. So if you can hear me on YouTube, say hello. Only I need like 3 of you to say hello. Kevin said, randomly, it turned $11 into $100 profit. Good job, good work. All right, you can hear me. Good. You never know. All right. So what are realistic expectations? Well, realize that variance is gigantic in poker. And as you have a lower win rate, which seems to be the case for most people who complain about bad luck, but as you have a lower win rate, you will experience more and more downswings. Inevitably, right? Why? Because you're losing. You're a losing player, or you're a barely profitable player, right? For example, imagine this graph is for a solid winning player. Tilt it a little bit like this. That's what happens if, let's see, I'll show you. This would now be the new graph if you were not such a winning player. You see now you are basically breaking even, slowly trickling up, right? Ryan says you don't like downswings because you feel vulnerable. Vulnerable to what? Going broke? Not being adequate in life? It's important to realize that your poker results are not an indicator of your worth as a human. I know a lot of poker players think they're great because they win money from a game, but recognize winning money from a game does not make you a great human being. Please recognize this. And do not be an egomaniac. A lot of poker players think they know a lot about everything. And, well, you can see this presented on Twitter. They seem to have opinions about all sorts of stuff that they are completely oblivious about. And it's important to recognize that very often those people are a little bit oblivious, or they're just overly confident. And now, it might actually be beneficial to be overly confident as a poker player. I know from working with the Poker backing company, quite often the players who win the most money are those who are perhaps even a little bit delusional. And because they're not afraid to get in there and try new things. And when they fail, they don't really take it to heart, right? I have always been a little bit on the different side of the spectrum. And meaning, like, I have never been overly confident. If anything, I've always been recognizing there's infinite more to learn. But at the same time, I don't think that is the absolute best mindset if you want to be the biggest crusher ever. Mark says he gets tired of poker players constantly talking about politics. Well, I get tired of them talking about all sorts of stuff they don't know about. Poker players are really good at thinking they know about other things pertaining to gambling. I mean, sports is a great one. You just see many of them punting off their money or talking about nonsense pertaining to sports. And they think that their thoughts about it matters. Or maybe they just want to talk to other people. I don't know. Sports comes up a lot. Politics comes up a lot. Nutrition comes up a lot. And I see things that are just, I mean, I presume they're factually untrue, but I don't even know. I'm not a nutrition professional, right? So it's important to recognize what you know and what you don't know. And a lot of people think they know things that they do not. Yeah, crypto's another one. All right, next. Realize that time is not a relevant metric, okay? Whenever people come to me and they say something to the effect of, Jonathan, I'm in a super sick downswing. I've been losing for the last 3 months. Every time I get it in, I lose. First thing I ask is, how often are you playing? Like, oh man, I play a lot. How much is that? Once a week. So I'm like, oh, so you played 12 tournaments and you've lost all 12 of them. Get used to that. That is life. That is how poker happens. I've had 2 stretches over the last 10 years where I've lost, I don't know the exact number, but it was more than 30, between 30 and 40 tournaments in a row, out of the money, no cashes. And to be fair, a lot of people care about cashes. Cashes don't matter all that much. They matter some, but most of the big money is won when you win the tournament. Surprise, surprise, right? And, well, that's why you see this bookshelf over here littered with trophies, because we recognize that the purpose and the goal is to try to win the tournament. Obviously you collect your free min caches when it makes sense, but you make money when you make deep finishes. And you're going to find that pretty much all of the best players, maybe they don't necessarily win a lot, but they take a whole lot of like final 5 places. And that's important to recognize. And like, I don't cash at a much higher percentage than anyone else. I mean, if you look at the average cash rate, you're to like break even would be 15%. I may cash at like 18%, 16%, something like that. It's nothing insane, but win rate, final table rate is through the roof. And that's because I recognize what is important. And a lot of other people don't. They are willing to sacrifice profit for feeling good about not going on downswings, because they think that that's what matters. And realize, again, look at this graph. Look at the peaks, right? You start off, where are we? Starting off, we go down, we win. Right here, this is a peak. You're going to be down for a long time after that peak. Then you're going to shoot up. Then you're going to be down for a long time after that peak. So in theory, you are on a swing most of the time for tournament play. If you're a tournament player, you're on a downswing most of the time, because you're just not at your peak all that often. Let's see. Can we change my setup? Yes. Today, XSplit is not working because apparently Google Cloud is not working. Where's your streaming program? Like, only on the webcam today. Nice and basic. Your connection is unstable. If you're on YouTube, let me know if my connection's unstable. If you win and quit for a while, it saves you a little money. It's not how it works. All right, we're back on YouTube apparently. Untitled today. Maybe I need to change my Wi-Fi. What are we on today? I could gamble and try to get on a different Wi-Fi network. Want me to gamble and try to get on a different Wi-Fi network? Let's try. We might be gone for a minute. What's the best site to play on? Read jonathanlittlepoker.com/USA or play Party Poker or Poker Stars. All right, we're on a better network now. Should be fine. All right, click refresh, whatever, you'll be okay. Sorry, everyone listening to this on audio. Oh, also, speaking of audio, I just put all of my audio feeds together into one podcast, the Poker Coaching Podcast with Jonathan Little. You can find that in all the podcast stores. That's going to include this show, the audio version, if you ever missed the video version. It's going to include a little coffee. That is a show. It's going to include a little coffee, little poker advice, weekly poker hand, and then various interviews that I do and various educational content that I do that will work well in the audio-only format. So check that out. Leave a review. And I want to say, I appreciate all of you leaving reviews, clicking like, and all of that because it adds up. I had not checked my iTunes rating for quite a while. And we have 5 stars, 4.85 stars, which is quite good for a podcast. Over many, many reviews, over like 200 reviews or something like that. So thank you to everyone for leaving good reviews. I appreciate it. It's always nice. You don't even know people are giving you good reviews and you check in and they are. We're on upswing, I guess. Anyway, back to downswing talk. Time is not a relevant metric. Get that out of your head immediately. And the problem is humans will be very, very conditioned to think in terms of what happened today or what happened this week or what happened this month. But none of that really matters. What matters is how many games did you play? How many tournaments did you play? How many hands did you play? How many hours did you play? That kind of thing is much, much more relevant. And even then, a lot of people don't realize that like over 100 tournaments. I just ran a simulation the other day. There's a site called pokerdope.com. They have a tournament variance calculator. It's free. Go check it out. Where you can put in some numbers. And the numbers I put in were 30% ROI, which is what a lot of players will have in small stakes tournaments if they are okay, but not world class, which is why they're playing small stakes tournaments. Next, we're going to play 100 tournaments. That's about as many as most, serious recreational players play each year, right? 2 or 3 tournaments a week. Okay. Then I said you're playing $100 tournaments with a $15 rake. Okay, so $115 tournament. If you run that sample, roughly 60% of the time, you're going to be up, and 40% of the time, you're going to be down over the 100 game sample. Those numbers may be slightly off on the 60-40, but if you run the simulation a few times, you will see that typically is what ends up happening. So what does that mean? That means that, 4 out of 10 years, you're going to be down. Are you ready for that? Are you used to that? Oh, and this was only in 300-person tournaments. If you're playing big field tournaments, like 500-person tournaments, 1,000-person tournaments, then it's going to be worse. You're going to be down more often. If you're playing smaller field tournaments, it'll be better, right? Smaller field tournaments have less variance than higher field tournaments, right? So realize that you have to actually put in volume. And you have to be realistic. So many people are completely unrealistic. Richard says, it sounds difficult to make tournaments into a stable primary source of income. Well, we are playing a gambling game. This is not a stable game. And also realize it's a volume game. So instead of playing 3 times a week, why don't you play 2 tournaments a day? That's 14 tournaments, right? I got a calculator so I don't screw this up. 14 tournaments times 365 days. You don't get off days if you're playing for real. 14 times 300. No. 14 tournaments a week. So 14 times 52. Let's do 2 tournaments times 365. That's easier. 700 something. So 730 tournaments. Let's say you play seriously live poker. You don't really take a lot of time off. Let's say you live in Vegas or LA or somewhere like that where you can put in a decent amount of volume. That's 730 tournaments a year. 7 times the volume of a recreational player. Over 1,000 games, you'll be happy to know, you're only down like 1 out of 10 years. You may say, oh my God, I could be down still 1 out of 10 years. Yeah. Get used to it. So what do you do to make that not matter? Well, the easy answer is have a big proper bankroll. So many people don't have a proper bankroll. Have money set aside for living expenses. So many people don't think about that. Every week, I get an email or two from people who say, all right, I'm going to go become a pro. I have $5,000. I'm going to go to Vegas. I'm going to play $100 tournaments. I'm going to grind it out. Well, there are a few problems with this. First off, you're going to spend $1,000 a month on stuff, even if you're living really, really cheaply. So that lasts you 5 months. 5 months is not a lot. Next, that's assuming all of that money is disposable, which is not. That's your bankroll, right? So really you have like, what, 1 month living expenses and a 40 buy-in bankroll, which is like nothing. They're drawing dead. And I tell them they're drawing dead. Not half the time they get angry at me and say, you don't believe in me. Like, no, I just don't think you're set up properly, right? People don't like tough love, but I'm not in the business of giving you all false hope. I want to set all of you up for success. And people do not recognize that you need something like a 200 buy-in bankroll or at least 100 buy-in bankroll and money set aside to spend. And that's presuming you don't even care about moving up, right? And ideally, you want to move up. You don't want to be stuck playing $100 tournaments for rent. And that's the issue, is that a lot of people think that, like, I don't know, it's just like they're not planning for the future, right? They think that poker is supposed to be this thing where you can show up like a regular job and then make X amount of money per month consistently. And that's just not how it works. Do not think that you can go and play, don't think you can just like show up and play poker and print a paycheck. It doesn't work like that. Glenn says, off to work. Have a great day. It's always nice to see people spamming on the internet. Anytime anyone spams, don't ban them for 300 seconds. Just ban them for life, whoever the moderators are. I normally don't see this because I'm on the other channel. But look, moderators here, I appreciate all of you. If anyone is going off, ban them for life. Don't ban them for 300 seconds. They do not deserve existence on this internet feed. Yeah, we don't tolerate trolls. Good job, good work. Local dealer casino tried to quit and turn pro with no results, had 4,000 euros intending to play 200 euro tournaments. Sorry, he's drawn dead. He was the only person at the table who said it was a bad idea. Well, that's because a lot of poker players at the table just care about themselves, and they want that guy in their games, right? Imagine you can get the player who has no results to start playing in your games in your casino. Wouldn't you be thrilled? Clearly, though, it's not a good strategy. Am I playing Fall Borgata Poker Open? I'm not. I'm going to be in the Bahamas for the Party Poker Caribbean Poker Party. And actually, you all can get 1% of my action. I am raffling it away. I'm having a giveaway. You can check that out at jonathanlittlepoker.com/pp giveaway. I'm probably going to play 75K worth of buy-ins. So 1% of that's worth $750 if I break even, but I'm just going to win everything this time, I think. I played the Caribbean Poker Party twice. I took second in a $10,000 tournament one time. Then I've had a lot of other no cashes. Again, we talked about this earlier, right? Downswing, 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 upswing. Also, we're giving away 6 months to my site, Poker Coaching Premium. That is part of the giveaway. I see our coach Lexi Gavin is here on Instagram. Welcome. Lexi's making great content for poker coaching. Go check it out. You can get a completely free trial membership. Am I selling any action? I already sold the action I needed in the high stakes tournaments. So no. All right. Murray just said, downswings, you're on a major downswing over the last 20 tournaments. Exactly, Murray. That's not a downswing. That's normal. That is exactly what I am trying to explain to all of you, that 20 tournaments is irrelevant. 100 tournaments is irrelevant. 1,000 tournaments with small fields, only 300 people, starts to become relevant. And anytime you're concerned about the very short run, it essentially says you do not have the proper understanding of poker. Let's take a casino, for example, right? Whenever a casino spreads any game, let's just take roulette, for example. Say you go, you sit down, you bet $100 on number 16 because that's your number, and then you hit your 16. You get whatever it is, 35 to 1 on your money. Is the casino angry? Does the floor man get pissed? No, floor man doesn't get pissed. Floor man's happy. He gives you the money. Why? Because he's providing you a good experience. Let's say you take all $3,000, whatever you have now, or however much you bet, $300. I don't know how much you bet. It doesn't matter. Say you take all of it and put it on number 9 and you peel off number 9 and you win again. You're going nuts. You're having a party. You're ordering bottles of Dom. Is the floor man mad at you? Is the casino mad at you? No, they're thrilled because now you have a party and everybody's going to come play your game and they're all going to punt off their money because they know that they have an edge long term. And that's even like a tiny edge, right? In poker, you're often playing with a relatively big edge. And when you do happen to go on the downswings where they get the money from you, it's okay, right? Recognize that. It's A-okay. Didn't I just win a tournament? How are you on a downswing? I'm not saying I'm on a downswing. I don't care about downswings. We're discussing how all of you can deal with downswings because you all ask me this all the time. All the time. How do I deal with losing 20 tournaments in a row? Recognize 20 tournaments is nothing. Understand math, understand volume, and understand variance. Volume cures variance. If you're not playing poker, your downswings are going to feel very bad because you're going to be going through 3-month stretches where you play a whopping 12 tournaments and you lose. You're on a downswing for a year. Like we already said earlier, if you're playing 100 tournaments a year, 3 a week, you will lose. Over the course of that year, if you're like a decent winning player, you will lose 4 out of 10 years roughly. 4 out of 10. That's not a downswing, that's just normal. You're almost a coin flip to be losing. Next, you want to be happy when people play poorly. That goes back to the casino metaphor. Is that a metaphor or a simile? Don't know which one. I was not very good at 10th grade English. Let's see. Yeah, be happy when people play poorly. A lot of people get annoyed or angry or bitter or frustrated when they get annoyed because, again, they have unrealistic expectations. They think when they get it all over their aces, they're supposed to win 100% of the time. Whereas in reality, you're going to win 80% of the time. 80 is not 100. Recognize that. And you know, the neat thing about tournament poker is that quite often you're not going to get in with 80% equity. You're going to get in with like 55% equity across the board. Someone did some study of poker players a long time ago in the World Series where they like followed around a bunch of quote unquote pros. I looked at the names. A lot of them were not very good. Anyway, they followed them around and their average equity they got it in with was like 56% or something like that whenever they got it all in. And sounds about right. I think maybe you can pull like 58, but whatever. Like, it's not huge. So recognize when you get it in, you're not going to be a gigantic crusher. A simile is comparison using like or as. So that was a metaphor then. Good. Thank you. One more thing that we probably don't need to know. Player has 11 big blind per 100, playing 500 zoom over 500K hands. One of the best cast game players, so do a 30,000 hand break-even stretch. Yeah, 100,000 hand break-even stretchers are not uncommon. The nice thing about online poker, though, is that you can play 5,000 hands a day. So 30,000 hands breaking even. That is 6 days. But in live poker, you play, what, 240 hands a day? 30,000 divided by 240 equals 125 days of breaking even in live poker, playing 8 hours a day. That wouldn't be so fun. That said, realize online your edges are often way smaller than live. But if you're a losing player live or a break-even player live or a barely winning player live, it's the same thing. You're going to have gigantic swings like that. Can you even imagine a 30,000 hand break-even stretch live? It's only 125 days. It's not that much. J-Dub's going off about having a breakfast at Borgata. If I go to Borgata in January, I'm definitely going to have a breakfast for everyone. We did a breakfast last time I was at Borgata, and we had about 15 people show up. It was a lot of fun. I bought everyone breakfast. We went and played the tournament. Chris O, one of my members of Poker Coaching Premium, I think he took 3rd place or 2nd place, something like that in the $1,000 tournament. It was his biggest score, I believe, so good job to him. It's always fun. Some of you keep thinking that I'm saying that I'm in a downswing and I'm complaining about it. I'm not in a downswing. Just the other day, I won this. I literally won this tournament just the other day. Does it say the date? August 7th. What is it now? It's November. That wasn't just the other day. I haven't won a tournament in 2 or 3 months. I guess I am in a downswing. We're not in a downswing. And it doesn't matter. That's what I'm trying to tell all of you, is that any downswing you experience in live poker just doesn't matter, right? A lot of people get it in their minds that things that don't matter matter, and you need to focus on the things that you can actually impact, right? So what can you impact that will help you not go on downswings? Someone asked this earlier. Took us all this time to get here. What do you need to do to win at poker? Two things. We discuss this all the time. How would you divide a big score from tournaments or cash game winnings? What do you mean divide? Don't know what divide means. All right, what do you need to win at poker? You need to have, what are they? Oh, play in games you can beat and play it a lot. There you go. Find games you can beat, play it a lot. All of you got it. So, if that's it, how do you find games you can beat? Well, you can either actively search out softer tournaments, or you can improve your skill edge, right? So you can study, or you can game select, or if you're smart, you do both, right? A lot of people, though, they play at the top end of their potential games, right? So let's say you are bankrolled for $500 games. Read jonathanlittlepoker.com/bankroll to see bankroll requirements. So you're going to play, let's say $500 games is kind of the top. Well, if you're concerned about making money long-term and keeping variance low, you should maybe be playing $300 tournaments, right? And, you know, if your average buy-in, you want it to be 500, you can play $1,000 games every once in a while, but don't play the $1,000 games with 26 people that's all good regs, right? You'll be playing the $1,000 tournaments that are ideally not such big fields, but are also relatively soft. That is going to allow you to have a nice ROI in a small fielded event, right? So that is important. So that's not playing games you can beat. And then just study. So many people, they just don't study. They just want to play. They want to play. It's a game. They want to play the game. They don't want to study the game. That's boring in their minds. Well, that's why we made pokercoaching.com. Go there, get your free trial again. If you really want to study, you really want access to the answer to any question that you have pertaining to poker, go to pokercoaching.com/premium. We have infinite content organized in a way that is nicely categorized, loads of quizzes, loads of challenges, and if you spend time there, you will get much better. Actually, the day after I won that trophy right back there, someone came up to me in the hall at Hard Rock and said, hey man, I'm at the final table of the 25K. I'm like, oh, great. He said, I'm a tournament player. I'm a cash game player. I've played a few tournaments in the past. I was never good. Then I decided to study. I signed up to Poker Coaching Premium. This is my first tournament since then. I was at the final table. I think he took like third place in it for, I don't know, $200,000 or something, maybe more. So good job, good work. And that was a player who realized I'm a cash game player. I'm good at cash games, but these tournaments are obviously soft in South Florida, and I want to get in them, but I'm bad at tournaments. What do? Study, improve your skill, right? Everybody recognizes this. And well, everyone who's good recognizes this. Everyone who's not good does not recognize this. And that's a problem. So anyway, increase your skill edge. If you're not increasing your skill edge, you will see your win rate decline. So many poker players were great back in the day who are not even in the game anymore. And the reason is not because they didn't put in volume, they kept putting in volume, but their skill edge diminished and they did not move down to compensate or find softer games to compensate. So you must be keenly aware of what your actual skill edge is. And this is what happens to a lot of players. I mean, I think it actually probably started happening to me 8 or 10 years ago, where I wasn't studying on. I was just traveling and playing poker all the time. And inevitably, I was not up to date on what was happening. So what did I do? Did I just keep doing what I was doing and putting in volume in games that maybe I couldn't beat or maybe where my edge diminished? No, I studied a ton. I literally bought a piece of a poker backing company to get access to their training material because I realized how incredibly valuable that was. And I didn't want to be backed by them because I had plenty of money. It was more, I just wanted access to the hive mind of geniuses who are teaching people to crush online. So you have to be humble. You have to realize you don't know everything. And you have to always continuously study. I don't know, what other questions do you all have pertaining to downswings? Because really, what it amounts to is the things you are worried about do not matter. Let's say you have a large winning session. Does 100% of those winnings go back into your bankroll? So the more, I mean, I'm in a weird scenario because I am not like actively trying to play bigger and bigger at this point in my life. So increasing my bankroll is not really my main desire anymore, because I have plenty of money to play 10Ks. For 25Ks, I'll sell action. For 10Ks, sometimes I'll sell action. I'm in a weird scenario, so it's not, and I have like my coaching business, right, that I get paid from. So it's almost like I have a job that pays the bills, and poker is not something I have to be nearly as strict on as I was in the past. I'll tell you what I did in the past, though. I put 100% of all of my winnings back into my bankroll. Whenever I was young, I had started with $50, and I never cashed out. First time I cashed out, I had something like $100,000 in my account. I started with 50, I had 100,000. Then I cashed out $1,000. Is that what I did? I don't even remember, but it wasn't a lot. I wasn't playing for money, right? I was not playing poker for a paycheck. I was playing poker because I liked playing poker, right? And a lot of people get into poker for the wrong reason, in that they would not be doing it for free. They are doing it to make money. And I just enjoyed playing games because I liked playing games. And I found a game where I could play and make money, and I didn't know if they'd actually cash me out, right? I hope they would. And they did. And my answer to you is that you should cash out money based on how much you care about moving up. If you don't care about moving up at all, right? Let's say you're a 2-5 player, you make $50 an hour. If you don't care about cashing out at all, well, let's say you're going to make $50 an hour times 8 hours a day times 20 days a month, you're going to make $8,000 a month. Okay? So if you're making $8,000 a month and you don't care about moving up to 510 ever, and you already have an adequate, let's say, 40K bankroll for live cash games, which is probably plenty, take out all 8,000, right? It doesn't matter. And if you do have a losing month, or you dip lower or whatever, it just doesn't matter, because you're already very properly bankrolled and you're not trying to move up. Now, I'm not saying spend 8,000. I'm saying take that money out of the designated poker bankroll and go from there. If you are trying to move up, though, put all that in your bankroll and keep expenses low. I talk about this in my first book, Jonathan Little on Live No Limit Cash Games, where I compared two players. Two 2-5 players, same win rate. One had something like 3,000 in expenses a month. One had 1,000 expenses each month. And the one who started with 1,000 expenses each month made something like 4 times as much money over the next 2 years, because they got to move up to 510 faster and then double their win rate at 510. But anyway, it's very important to realize what scenario you're in and what you're trying to accomplish. Apparently, Ryan had a good question. What's the difference between the downswing and playing poorly? How do you recognize the difference? Well, always ask, how am I losing? Every time you play poker and you lose, or if you win, you always want to be asking, how am I winning? How am I losing? And if you are losing by getting it in poorly, maybe a problem. If you're losing by bluffing it off consistently, that may be a problem. If you're winning by all of your bluffs getting through, it's probably fine. If you're winning by getting it in good, it's probably fine. If you're winning by getting it in poorly, probably not fine, right? I had a summer at the World Series of Poker. Same summer I had, I think, very few cashes. I was playing cash games on the side, and I was playing, I think it was 25, 50, 100. And I played a lot of it that summer, and I got it all in something like 14 times, because I kept good records of this type of thing. I got it all in 14 times with, I think I was behind like 2 times and ahead the other 10. And I lost 10 out of 12. Made for a very bad summer, because every time you get it in there, you're losing $10,000 or $20,000. And looking back through it, it's like, ran bad, right? Such is life. So how do you deal with that? Realize it doesn't matter. I'm properly bankrolled for the game. I'm not like taking some giant shot. And even if you are taking a giant shot, realize, whatever, say we're down 8 units if a unit is 10K, we're down to 80K. Well, if we had $1 million when we started, and now we have 920, isn't that big of a deal? No, right? It's just not. And it's very different than if you're playing not properly bankrolled. And that's where a lot of people start. They start with 100K, and then they lose 80K of it. And then they're going nuts. And because they're not playing properly bankrolled. If you don't play properly bankrolled, I understand why you would go nuts if you had a big downswing, because it's a lot of your net worth. And what happens to a lot of people is they will go and work for a month, get paid a few $1,000, take 1,000 of it, call it their poker bankroll, lose it all, and then be devastated. And it's because they're playing like 2-5 no limit, or even 1-2 no limit with $1,000. And sorry, you're going to lose 5 buy-ins at some point. You just are. So you always need to be paying attention to if you are getting your money in good or bad, if your bluffs are succeeding or failing, et cetera, et cetera. Basically, do you have an edge in this game? And if you are playing and you don't know you have an edge, get up and go play another game where it's obvious. And again, that's presuming you are trying to win money, right? If you're trying to really push the boundaries, try to move up, understand that you're accepting big swings and you are accepting low edges, right? And like all the very high stakes online players in tournaments, especially, a lot of them realize they don't have much of an edge, 20%, 30% ROI, compared to maybe like 40, 50, 60, 80% they could have in smaller stakes games. But they're always trying to improve and push themselves and push the boundaries. And, maybe they're the ones who will break through and just crush the game. They're willing to have that potential upside of crushing the game in exchange for way more variance. And they just don't care, right? Because it doesn't matter. Downswings do not matter. Become unemotionally attached to your money. So many people think that their net worth in terms of dollars or the size of their bankroll matters, always comparing themselves to others and feeling poorly because they don't have what someone else has. But it's tough because I recognize in poker, some people do just get lucky and they run hot. Some people will run hot for years, every year, pretty much. Whoever wins Player of the Year, they did 2 things. They put in a ton of volume and they ran hot. They didn't necessarily play games they could beat, but they ran hot every year. Just watch. And Justin Bonomo was a good example of this. He won infinite money last year or the year before, one of those. And in interviews, the interviewer said something like, "Wow, how are you doing this? How are you crushing your opponent so bad?" He's like, "I won every flip." And that's the answer. I won every flip. So sometimes, every year, someone's going to win every flip. I had a great year. I won Player of the Year trophy back here. You all can't see it on YouTube. The giant pointy trophy back here. I won Player of the Year, and in that year, I won literally probably, 60% of the flips, 70% of the flips. And happens. I've also had years where I've not won any of the flips. It happens, right? And you can't be happy or unhappy. I was actually very lucky that my first year of playing live poker, I lost every tournament I played. I remember I cashed the first 2 tournaments. I thought, oh, this is going to be good. I'm just going to win all the money playing live poker as a 21-year-old. Then I breaks everything for a year. And it's because I wasn't playing well. I didn't know how to play tournaments very well. I especially didn't know how to adjust to live poker players because I was only an online player. And I was probably playing with a minimal edge or no edge. And I failed part number 1, right? I was putting in volume, but probably without an edge. And I wasn't studying, I wasn't learning. And then I realized it. All right, let's see. What's the rule of thumb for number of sessions or buy-ins that can be lost in a downswing? It depends on the variance in your game, right? If you're playing tournaments with 50,000 people online on the major sites, well, you're going to go on giant downswings. Go see the variance calculator at pokerdope.com because it really does depend on really your win rate, the field size, the variance in the game, often based on your playing style, but we'll ignore that for now. Essentially, you're going to have a load of variance. Expectations that you can quit your day job and make bank playing poker is irrelevant, especially if you have a family and kids. Well, yeah, that's for sure. If you have a family and kids, don't do that. Fitzgerald has reviewed databases that are the rough equivalent of 800 years at the World Series. A player in question was running massively under expectation, even over a large sample. Yeah. Well, you're always going to be above or below expectation. The question is how much below or above. You do mad studying and you crush live poker. Well, good. I'm glad to hear it. You're a new player who's having trouble building your bankroll. Use poker coaching and GTO trainer almost every day. Should you expect to be losing money as you continue learning? You're down $150. Well, again, is $150 a lot of money? Did you lose $150 $1 at a time? Or did you lose $150 $10 at a time, right? Very, very different things. Did you, actually, are you playing well? Maybe you're just not playing well. Are you taking notes? Are you sharing hands with friends? Are you getting feedback from others? Are you making notes on what you are actively striving to improve, right? If you're just like passively studying and then going to play, it's probably a problem. Also, playing like a GTO robot is probably not a good idea in the small 6 games. I discussed this a ton. You want to adjust to take advantage of what your opponents do incorrectly. Let's see. Lado makes a joke saying that he did have a worse job, now he has a better job. And you're going to find that the people who succeed in life, for the most part, find something they're good at, and then they grind their faces off. They play, study, work more than everybody else. The only reason I'm here today, I can guarantee you, is because I studied way, 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 way more than almost everyone I played against when I first started. And even today, I probably study more than the vast majority of, like, in theory, semi-retired live players. I don't view myself as semi-retired, but to be fair, I'm home 2.5 weeks out of the month, so maybe I am. All that time is spent studying or working with people, right? And I think that is the only reason I've had my success, because I was not good at poker when I first started. I was bad. I was a weak, tight knit because I cared about money, right? I had to get unemotionally attached. And going on the downswings will get you unattached for money. I think a lot of people lack resilience. They lack grit, right? Like they get beat up a little bit and their bankroll gets bruised, their ego gets bruised, and they think, oh man, this is rough, I quit. And those people don't make it. I have been very fortunate in that pretty much no matter what happens yesterday, I can wake up and be pretty ready to go. I cannot recall the last day where I had a bad day and then I woke up not pretty much ready to go again. And maybe that's just a mindset that I was born with. Maybe it's natural. Maybe it was taught to me by my parents. I don't know. And it's important to try to figure out what you can do to get back in the mindset to work hard is what it amounts to. A lot of people do not want to work hard. They just want to show up and play. And showing up and playing is not a recipe for success. You play 200 hours a month and study on top of that. Is that the recipe? It sounds like a pretty good recipe. You may be playing too much. I would tell you to play less, especially if you are trying to build your bankroll, improve your skills, and get better at poker. I think you actually need to put in a little bit less volume than like super full time. And spend some of that time studying. Also spend a little bit more time enjoying life to make sure you don't get burnt out. Because like I know after my 3 years of grinding 16 hours a day every day, I was burnt out after 3 years of that. And I don't want anyone else to get burnt out like that. What was the giveaway? Oh, go to jonathanlittlepoker.com/CP giveaway. We're giving away one $1,000 buy-in seat to a card player poker tour tournament, plus 6 months to my in-depth training site, Poker Coaching Premium. You can find that at pokercoaching.com/premium. Also, go to jonathanlittlepoker.com/PP giveaway, where I'm giving away 1% of all of my action, probably about $75,000 worth of buy-ins at the Party Poker Caribbean Poker Party coming up in just a few weeks. So check that out. It's emotionally unattached and not unemotionally attached. I'm sure you are right about that. English is my 4th language, so I'm doing my best here. Yeah, so a lot of people don't recognize that a lot of people who do make it, it's because they put in a lot of time working and playing. And if you interview I don't know, the top 100 poker players in the world, I can pretty much guarantee you 90% of them had at least some period in their life where they put in a whole lot of volume playing and studying. And a lot of people just don't like that answer. They think that they think that's what you're supposed to do. You're spending $7.5 million in tournaments next year. That is not what I said at all, Hollywood. I said this tournament series coming up is 75,000 in buy-ins. Different than 7.5 million in a year. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, if you enter any of the giveaways, by the way, you get access to some of my ebooks for free. More free content for all of you. I want all of you to go sign up, get the free stuff I'm giving you, get a chance to win this stuff, because I like giving money to all of you. You just like saying party poker, Caribbean poker party. Yeah, I'm getting good at that one. It's a tongue twister when I did it. Vader studied every day, saying he wanted to get 1% better every day. Funny enough, I have a chapter in that about that exact topic by the head manager of the Poker Backing Company. It's a long chapter on ways you can improve yourself 1% every day. And yeah, get better. Strive to improve. Get rid of your leaks. You all know what your leaks are probably in life. If you eat unhealthily, if you don't work out a little bit, if you drink too much, if you do drugs, if you spend your time doing things that are not productive, all of these are leaks you can eradicate. And you have to learn how to enjoy the things that are also very good for you. Studying, for example, is a good answer, right? It's or a good example. If you study a lot, you will either not like it or you'll like it. But if you can find a way to get good in a manner that you enjoy, you're going to like doing that. It's going to be fun, right? As Kevin says, you love the quizzes. That's the goal. I want to make the quizzes at poker coaching really, really, really beneficial for you. Oh, let's see. Anything else about dealing with downswings? Please just recognize if you complain about downswings, if you feel bad in your head about losing, realize you're too attached to the money. Realize you may not be playing properly bankrolled. You almost certainly have entitlement issues. You think you're supposed to win. I do not think I'm supposed to win, by the way. I want to make this really clear. I think I am supposed to show up and play my absolute best. That is what I do. And the results I get are going to be wildly different than the effort I put in most of the time, and that's okay, because it doesn't matter. Every time you play, I'll tell you the way I think about this. Every time I go to play a tournament, let's say I'm going to play a $10,000 tournament with 50% ROI because it's soft. I'm going to go there, I'm going to buy in for 10K, and I'm going to win $5,000 in equity. That's it. A lot of people are concerned about the guarantee or the first prize, but none of that really matters. It impacts your return on investment. But the idea of I'm going to go play a $1,000 tournament because it has a 10 million guaranteed doesn't make logical sense, because you're just printing your ROI. Your ROI may be $1,000 in that game, 100% or 200% even, but you should not go thinking I'm going to win 100K or $1 million or whatever it is. You should go thinking I'm going to win my return on investment. And usually you don't get it on that individual day. That is how my brain works, which is why, like, for example, Party Poker, Caribbean Poker Party compared to Borgata Fall Poker Open. At Party Poker, I'm going to invest about 75K, probably with like 25% ROI, because a lot of the tournaments are high stakes and tough. So 75,000 times 0.25 equals $18,750 in the week. That's roughly what we'll make on average. I'm going to spend $3,000 in expenses, so I'm going to make 15K or 16K in the week. Okay? So we'll make 16K that week. Borgata tournament, let's say I can invest, I don't even know what the series looks like. Let's say $8,000 in a week times 0.6, high ROI. We're going to make $4,800 in the week. So would I rather make $4,800 with way less variance, or 15,000 with a lot of variance? I'd rather make 15,000 with a lot of variance. So there you go. That's the answer, right? And I'm not thinking I can go win X amount of dollars. I'm only thinking in terms of ROI. You all want giveaway links. Here's the links on YouTube. 2 links for you. Let's see. You learned the most from the homework challenges. Yeah, homework challenges are great. They're hard. They take work. But I think they're by far the best way to go about learning. I just realized I have a coaching session with someone in 10 minutes. I should probably pack this up, huh? Used to play with a guy who'd been losing for 4 years in a row. You told him he should probably just quit. He took your advice, and now you don't see him playing anymore. Yeah, probably smart. Did you put on a camera filter? There's no camera filter. Does it look good or bad? I don't know. All right. Yes, if you're having any issues with the giveaways, contact support. It's a third-party program, so I mean, like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The camera looks low resolution. Well, it's a $40 camera. It says it does HD 1080p. Not sure I believe that or not. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. What else? Yeah, play games you can beat, play them a lot. That really is the answer. And people forget one of those two almost all the time. When you're on a downswing, you're probably playing too much in games you can't beat. Right? So if you play too much in games you can't beat, your bankroll will go into the dumpster. If you don't play a lot in games that you can beat, which is what a lot of you are doing in small stakes games where you play like once a week, right? You're playing in games you can beat, but you're only playing once a week. So 12 games, 52 games a year. Well, we already did the math. That means you're going to have a whole lot of losing years, half of them roughly. So if you're having half of the losing years, then, well, get used to it, right? It's important to understand that is what you are signing up for and what you agree to. So please, please, please have realistic expectations. Do I put on makeup in front of the camera? Sometimes. I mean, how else am I going to get my lovely lipstick on? I retweeted a video of my lawyer, Mac Verstandig. He played as the Queen of Hearts yesterday in full drag on Live at the Bike. That was a lot of fun. You can find that short video on my Twitter at Jonathan Little. I don't know why I kept watching it in a loop. It was just so absurd. I have an interview with him, by the way, talking about the Mike Postel incident. He is the lawyer for the plaintiffs who are trying to rectify the situation. So check out that video on YouTube. Lift up people today, folks. That is right, Scuba Steve. Lift people up, make people better, better the world, and have a lot of fun, right? I mean, I think a lot of people don't quite recognize how helpful, useful, beneficial it is to better others. Because if you help others, they will inevitably go help you. And, you know, it's better to help others than help yourself, especially once you're in an okay scenario. And if you all are here, presumably you have a smartphone, you have at least a little bit of money, and you have probably opportunities. I recognize everyone doesn't have the same opportunities, but if you have opportunities, make the most of them. Please, please, please make the most of them. Don't squander the situations that you are fortunate to have. So yeah, that's going to be it for today. Hope you all enjoy yourselves, have fun. If you enjoyed this, click like, click subscribe. You all may not believe this, but apparently subscribers on YouTube is a thing. And if you get 100,000 of them, they give you a plaque. If you get 1 million of them, they give you a different plaque. We're not going to get to 1 million followers, I don't think. But I think we could get to 100,000. So if you all know 100,000 people who will click subscribe on my YouTube channel, that'd be very beneficial. I think we're at like 35,000 now, and we haven't even really been trying. So let's actually try now. Let's get some subscribers. Click subscribe. It's completely free. And it helps me. You know, one thing you should definitely do that's highly beneficial to life is that you should help people when it costs you almost nothing. Hollywood says, I didn't answer your question, so you're not liking this. Well, sorry, your question is buried. What did I study before writing books? I started writing books 10 years ago. I played around with a lot of computer programs. One was called Sit and Go Power Tools. That helped a lot. I also talked a lot with many of the best players in the world, and I posted hands on various poker forums, like the Poker Coaching Forum, to get feedback from other players who are actively trying to improve their skills. So yeah. How can you choose a good game if they just take your name and put you at a table? Get on the seat change list. Also play different stakes, right? When you go to a casino, say your bankroll for 1, 2, and 2, 5, get on both lists, right? Say they put you at 1, 2 first, move to 2, 5 when it looks good. If it looks good. If it doesn't look good, stay at 1, 2. Don't think you just have to play as big as you possibly can. Anyway, helping people when it's a free roll to you is something that you can do that costs you nothing, that significantly helps others. A good example is we're having parent-teacher conferences with my kids' parents at school in a week or two. And there's a sign-up sheet, right? So my wife got a time, 9:15, nice solid time. And someone else showed up a little bit late. The earliest they got was like 9:45 or 10:15 or something. Now, for my wife, it wasn't actually that big of a deal to switch. She was willing to. And like worst case, what? We'd go out to breakfast that morning and have a nice breakfast. Is that, like, that's fine, right? So it's basically free for her to switch. We would help the other parent significantly. In those scenarios, like, yeah, you'd rather have the early time. Like it matters 1 out of 10 to you, but it may matter like 10 out of 10 to the other person because maybe they have an important meeting or maybe they really need to do something. I don't know what the deal is, but if they say it's important, then be willing to help them. And like whenever you ask me a message on Twitter or YouTube or Instagram or whatever, I reply. Why? Because it costs me 10 seconds of my time, maybe a minute or 5 minutes if it's something really in depth. And it's hopefully very beneficial to you. And now I'm lucky that I'm not popular enough to where I can't answer all your questions. At some point, you get to become so popular. People claim the point of so popularity is usually something like 300,000 followers on Twitter. You're going to have a hard time answering everybody. And it sucks when you get there. But even then, I can guarantee I'm still going to do my best. And it's because it costs me almost nothing to help someone who cares a lot. And if you have people in your life who you could help, especially if it costs you nothing, you should. Like, say you see someone who has a physical disability, who can't carry their grocery bags. Carry their grocery bags. I do that all the time in my apartment, right? I'll see someone struggling to carry a bunch of stuff because in Manhattan, people pick up a bunch of stuff and carry it. I'll help them with their stuff, right? Just because it's free. I remember one time there was a hurricane that knocked out all the power in New York, and I was staying on the 14th floor or 16th floor or something like that, wherever I lived. And you had to walk up and down the stairs each day. And there was this lady who had a gigantic dog. And she was an older lady. She could not carry her gigantic dog. And her gigantic dog was obese to the point that they could not walk down the stairs very well. So every day we timed it. Right at 9 a.m., we'd go out of the apartment. Lady would be there. I'd pick up her obese dog and carry it down 14 flights of stairs. Because it cost me almost nothing. If anything, it's like a good workout, right? You get in there, you get to work out by carrying an obese dog, and you help out the old lady. And I think I only carried it up about half the time. Don't know how they got the dog back up. Maybe somebody else helped her out, right? Anyway, if it's free for you or cheap for you, then help out people. And many of my efforts are either scalable to the point that they are cheap. Like today, for example, right? Imagine I charge $500 an hour for private coaching. There's 150 of you here on YouTube, and I know thousands of you will watch it. It's like I'm giving each of you a free $3. Would I give each of the live viewers here a free $3? It's like, sure. It's in the form of my time too, right? So it's like, I'm happy to do it. And if, imagine 5,000 people view this, giving each of you 10 cents of my time, like, I'll give away 10 cents all day, every day. All right. Anyway, have fun. Good luck. Enjoy yourselves. Thank you for being here. Again, if you enjoyed this, click like, click subscribe, click share, click all the buttons. Check out my podcast, the Poker Coaching Podcast with Jonathan Little. Enjoy yourselves. Have fun. And I'll talk to you later.